Hello, 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 and welcome back to my YouTube channel and my social media platforms. On today's episode, which is August 9th, 2026, came on today because I want to talk about today marks the 26th year that I will be in tech. So August 9th, 1999 is when I started my career in technology. And so I want to talk about how I've been able to last 26 years in tech. So, hello, my name is Sharika Jackson. I am the founder CEO of Future Stars Inc., as well as SDJ Innovations. And on this SDJ Innovation channel, I've been talking about my process of preparing to retire in 150 something days. In January 2027, I will be retiring. But we all know the burnout rate in technology and a lot of corporate careers. And when we say corporate, I just mean anything that's not working for yourself, right? Because federal government, local government, county government, corporations, they all have their many challenges and the various politics that happens within them all. And so as a woman of color working in tech, and another challenge that I always faced is I was a woman of color in tech, but I didn't look my age, right? Because you all know, as the infamous statement goes, black don't crack. But when you're perceived to be younger, you're treated different as well. And so, how did I make it 26 years? How did I make it to the point of I'm going to be able to retire in January and continue to work in my nonprofit and continue to travel and continue to build other avenues of revenue and career opportunities that I want to on the schedule that I want to? So, the first thing I will say that allowed me to stay for 26 years is mentors. So, I had a variety of mentors. I tell the story, and I've told the story when I started in the job in the first department I was in. So, just being mindful, also, I worked in three different departments in local government. But in the first department I was in, I had to take within less than 2 weeks of being there, I needed to take leave without pay because I went to the University of Arizona and they were holding our regional conference because I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta. And we were part of the host chapter and I needed to be there. And so I had to take leave without pay. And the person that I reported to, I let him know. And he's like, "Oh, that's fine. I have someone that I want you to meet. They're part of your organization." And in my head, I was like, yeah, I'm not a tried but okay, that's fine. That's what you think. And so when I came back to work and this person was then hired into the department that I was in, he introduced me to her. And yes, she was a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, which, within my first month, less than a month of being there, he connected me with her and she just grabbed on and held on and was like taking me through all the various things, was being my sounding board, not just a work sounding board when I had relationship concerns or issues or various things that were happening throughout my life. She was someone that I was able to talk to. And still to this day, she is someone that I'm still able to talk to. Just saw her the other night and as I call her, like my third mom, because she's always been that great support. And because she wasn't technical, she was on the admin side and all of the things, and she was at an executive level. She just loved on me, and when needed to, she paid for various things so that I can get experiences. She put me on committees and made me chair or co-chairs of committees. She saw in me more than I saw in myself, and so it allowed me to grow within the organization, but it allowed me to grow outside of the organization as well. And then I did also have a mentor that worked in tech, a Black woman in tech, and she more more direct and more came right at you, kind of my personality and how I am. And a lot of people can't handle my directness, but she was more direct, but always gave good advice and always was like pushing me to be better and going to the next level. She was also someone that gave a lot of financial advice on stop buying the purses, stop buying the shoes, start putting into your 457, your 401, start investing and saving for your retirement so that when retirement option is available, you don't have to stay. And so she anytime she'd be like, "So what are you doing? Who you talk to? What's your financial planner? What's your plan?" So between those two ladies, one, giving me the more how to navigate the environment, and the other one, the advice on the tech side of the environment, are all as well as financial advice. And so the two of them together, and then plenty other indirect mentors or indirect conversations that I had over and that I have had and will continue to have with people, has definitely gotten me to this level. And I've been blessed that I had two amazing African American young ladies that got me to this point. But there was also coworkers within the organization. I think Delta Sigma Theta played a big part because a lot of us, that I want to say at some point there was like 10 or 15 of us within the organization. And so we had our own little network of conversation. We had our own ability to talk to one another. And even the organizations, there's members of Alpha Kappa Alpha that are there. We could all talk to each other because we're a small number. And so being a part of the Divine Nine definitely helped me get through this process because those sisters were there, regardless of the organizations and the conversations, but it helped us move to the next level. They also used to host an event where they would get all the African American women of the organization together at least once a year. I took that over for a little while and I did it quarterly. And so we just became that support system because in local government, it kind of rides the waves of what's happened in the economy. When 2008 happened, the financial crisis, all these various things, having these people to talk to and having these women of color that are going through whatever you may be going through within that local government or agency. And yes, we all are in different aspects of it, but it's still kind of the same, right? And so having that support. I also, the gentleman that introduced me to her was a white male, and he was an ally. Like, he was in my first year with the organization, there was a lot of complaints about me, a lot of concerns that were unfounded, right? Like, things that were being said to me that I will go into later details about them because I haven't decided. I'm debating on writing a book because some of the stuff that has been said to me over the 26 years is quite amazing. Not in a good way amazing, but he was the one at some point when he found out, he was like, "I need you all to stop coming to her with this BS and give me the names of people that have issues with her, because if they have a concern with her, that means they don't have enough work to do. And I need to give them more work." And so that stopped it, within that first department. It stopped the concerns. It stopped all the negative comments that were coming back to me that had nothing to do with my work. All the comments were just about my personality, my look, my dress, and nothing about my skill sets. And so he put a stop to it. And so I wish I knew where he was at because he definitely is someone that helped me get to this point. When he left the department, I would still run into him and still talk to him. We had jokes and it was good. He was definitely someone that helped me get to this next level. Um, yeah, it's been great. There's definitely been some hard times, but it's definitely been some good times. But one of the other things that helped me get to this point was work was not my life. And so I worked for local government, came in, did my job. If I had to stay late, I did. For Y2K, most of us had to stay late. But other than that, if there was not a pressing thing that required me to work more than 40 hours, they weren't getting more than 40 hours. Um, so I had life outside of work. And so having a life outside of my career enabled me to continue to push forward. Because I'll be honest, when I got the job, it was not the job I wanted. I was like, I'm out of here in 5 years. But within that first 5 years, I started coaching high school basketball. So I coached high school basketball for 7 years, started at the freshman level all the way up to the varsity level. And because I was working 7 to 3:30 and going straight to practice, and then using my vacation time to go to tournaments or whatever it was, I even coached a traveling team in the summertime. But I had a life outside of my career. So that allowed me to not get caught up in all of what was going on in the workplace and bring that stress home and bring that stress into my body, because I was able to pour into young ladies. I still talk to that first team that I coached, which was a team of 6. I called them the Iron Man team because they went 19-1 and there was only 6 girls on the team. And so being able to work with those young ladies and still have a relationship with those young ladies to this day is amazing. And so I wouldn't have had that if I was in what you would call a traditional corporate job, a corporate technical job. It would have been harder to be able to get back into the community because I went back to my old high school because I am a Phoenix native. Went back to my old high school and coached there for 4 years. And then I thought I was finished and I quit. And so then I started doing other things. And God's like, "What are you doing? You need to get back to coaching." And so then I went back and I was coaching at Carl Hayden High School. And so I coached there for 3 years. And so then after that is when I launched Future Stars. And so that's how the nonprofit came about is I saw students not being exposed to STEM or what the various opportunities were in the tech space. And I knew what it did for me. It allowed me to travel, it allowed me to have various experiences. It allowed my mom and all the people that are around me to have different opportunities. Going to college and having my degree and working in tech, making back then more than the average person, because I want to say minimum wage was probably what, $6, $7 back then, 26 years ago. So having that opportunity and, the job allowed me to do those things because I knew most of the time I'm going to be getting off on time. If there was various things that happened and I didn't, I knew I could call somebody and they would cover if it was with basketball. And then once the nonprofit started, and when I started the nonprofit in 2008, I started slow. It was not like, oh, we're going to be this amazing nonprofit in 2 days, right? It was one-on-one mentorship with young ladies, helping young men that wanted to go to college to go through the NCA clearinghouse and what that process was be, setting up events where we did a game day for families where I think 4 people came. And so for anyone that knows about Future Stars, you know about it now, but in 2008, we had 1 to 5 to 8 people maybe. But I kept pushing and kept moving forward. And so having a life outside of my career is what allowed me to be here 26 years because I knew it wasn't my end. It was the funder. So with Future Stars, right? It's a nonprofit, so you got to write grants. And so it's hard to do and get grants when you don't have data to back it. And so how do you get data? You get funding. So it's that back and forth, right? It's like they won't fund you because you have no data, but you can't get funded and so it's this back and forth thing. And so I will say my mentor from my career was her organization that she later was a part of was our first funders. And once they funded us, I think like 12 years ago, we've now been able to get funding. So the relationship and the job where their mentor and helping me get through my career also then helped with the nonprofit and helping us move forward in what we're able to do in the community. So building relationships is also a big aspect of that, but also staying in touch, right? My mentor retired, but I still touch base. I still try to go to lunch, if not twice a year, more often than that. But giving them updates of what's going on and not just, oh, we're no longer in the same environment together. But, like I said, I ran into her the other day at an event. And so I'm very grateful for the advice and all the things that she did while working with her, but also outside in the nonprofit. And so yes, a lot of people, career wise, it's like, how far can you go up the chain in the channel and get promoted and promoted? And I got a phone call once saying, hey, we want you to interview for this position. It's a higher level tech position. Are you interested? And I said, no. And they said, well, this opportunity won't come about again. I said, that's fine. Because I knew my purpose was the nonprofit. And I know how I am. If I would have promoted to this higher position, the requirements for me to learn everything in that environment, the requirements for me to be more available would have had the nonprofit suffering because I'm going to go all in. And so I had built my life and my career and where I was at with the nonprofit and my bills and my life where I didn't need that higher salary, where I didn't need these extra resources. I'm comfortable, I'm good. So like for me, when COVID hit in 2020, over here on my wall, I have a whole plan. I planned out how I'm going to retire. I planned out what my financial strategies was going to be. And so when this opportunity and they asked about me promoting to this position and I said no, it took them for a bat, right? But she understood when I talked to her about it. She's like, yeah, that's not your purpose. Like your purpose is not that. And if there was some times where I was interview or applying and not getting interviews, and I was upset that I wasn't getting interviews, and I prayed about it. And in praying about it, God was like, "Your glory is not coming in this career. Your glory is what you're gonna be doing in the community and for the youth of the valley." And so then I stopped applying. I stopped looking at job announcement, and people call me and be like, "Hey, did you look at this job announcement?" Da, da, da. I said, "I don't even log into that because I believe what God had for me. He said this." So when he gave me that clear answer, I stopped applying, I stopped looking. And so now, because I'm not looking, my brain is not, "Oh, you're being left behind. Oh, you should do this." I stayed in alignment with what he has for me and not what people say I should be doing in tech or the title that I should have, because more titles is more stress and more this and more that. And what I like to do is serve the community. What I like to do is like the smiling faces of the kids when they learn something new or they have new experiences. That is where my joy comes from. My career funds that joy. My career does not fund or does not give me the joy. I do enjoy what I do. In the department that I'm in, what I do does have a direct impact on the community. So, what technology I put into these locations does have a direct impact into community, and I'm grateful for that. But it's not the end of all in, right? And so, as I said, I've been able to be successful, and how I define successful is I'm gonna be able to retire at 52 years old with a full pension and money that's invested that I will be able to tap into if I need at some time, but also now I'm gonna be able to go into the nonprofit and run it full time and engage with, and grow it and get it to the next level and get it to where we have full-time staff, where it's its own business, it's sustainable, and continue to do I've been doing in the community since 2008 with it, and just doing it on a bigger, better scale. So as I celebrate my 26 year in my technology career, I'm also very excited to get ready to celebrate the next step, the next chapter, and starting in 2027, where I will be a retiree of tech, and be able to still encourage young people to go in it, but also tools on how to be successful in it, because you will have challenges, you will have things that you will face, and you're going to have to learn how to navigate that. So, helping parents create well rounded kids that have the ability to critical think, problem solve, and be able to move forward. And so, like I said, I just wanted to jump on here really, really quick, to celebrate my 26 years in tech, but also talk about a little bit how I made it through this 26 years, what's coming up next for me. I'm still going to also continue to make some more videos about preparing for retirement, because I do have a meeting coming up with a financial planner, on what that's going to look like, on if I'm going to leave my money in the current accounts or if I'm going to convert them over to a Roth account, because the biggest thing is taxes, right? Paying a lot of taxes on that. Do I want to pay it now? Do I want to pay it later? Or do I just let it sit there and grow for the next, I don't know, however many years, where until I feel like I need it? Because I don't believe I will need it right now in the next couple of years. Don't have anything pressing that's going to be happening. So, yeah, I will be back after, I have this meeting with the financial planner and let you all know what I decided in regards to converting. Thank you again for um, thank you again for coming to my channel. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification button. But please, please help and share so that when I do go live, right now, I don't think I have enough people to go live where you're able to interact with me. But in the future, if we're able to get it there, we can set some schedules and go live together and have some conversations. And I can answer questions in the chat that anybody may have, and how I've been able to build my net worth and the things that I've been able to do to get me to the point of, even if I don't work in the nonprofit, and getting a stipend from them, how I will be able to afford my career and potentially bounce around the USA and be an expat. But thanks for watching. Like I said, subscribe and like. Until next time, have a blessed day.